Hi, um, this is Maria, and I'm doing another Maria Unfiltered, and this is going to be really difficult for me because, people have asked, well, how in the world can such a large inheritance be stolen like that? And I said, well, it's very easy if you just saw the document. And so, it's almost mind-boggling. And so, what I wanted to do was, I'm just going to spend like just a couple minutes showing you a document, and I'll show you just how it was done. And it's shocking, really, but it's very important because there are, in so many instances, there's arguing between siblings, there's arguing between family members, especially if there's like step parents and stepchildren and extended family and things like that. And yet, in my family, it was just two girls, and we were the co-beneficiaries. Everything was 50-50. And in fact, my dad had a beautiful condo on the beach in Clearwater, and he said, now you two are going to have to, you'll split it, and whoever, wants to buy the other one out. And then when I decided to moved to Clearwater when my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, my father said, well, come to Clearwater and spend some time with your mom and me. And so I moved down there. And so he said, and I'll buy you a condo. So he bought me a condo, and he said, okay, so this will be your condo. And then the condo that your mother and I are in will go to your sister, because she had a home, in Clearwater. She lived there. And so that was how it was. Then now my dad was all happy because now he had two condos, and it was just easier for the trust. One goes to one daughter, one goes to the other daughter. But anyway, so what happened was, in order for them to steal my condo, because as I said in my last video, in Florida you can't take somebody's only home. That's even OJ got to keep his home. And I'm not advocating for that because. Yeah, he had his own legal issues, but I'm just saying, as an innocent person as well, they can't take your home. And so they can take everything in it, but like they did with OJ, but they can't take your home. And that's only if, you owe somebody something or whatever. But anyway, so what the court documents showed, and what my sister actually wrote, is that I never lived in my condo, and my father bought it for me in 2004, and I lived in it till 2013 or 14, until they took it, until I came back from Brazil, and the locks were changed. So you're certainly, you're not allowed to do that. But what I was going to say is that, they said that I never lived in my home, and that actually I lived with my parents. So then my parents' condo was split in half, and they went before a judge, and I was given 50% of my parents' condo, and my sister was given 50% of that condo, which was totally ridiculous. And then they gave my 50% to my ex-husband because of that bogus defamation suit, which is so ridiculous. So not only did they steal my condo from me, my entire condo with everything in it, but then they said that 50% of my parents' condo went to my ex. So I thought that was funny. But anyway, I want to show you the document. So just bear with me, okay? So for instance, and I said there were misspellings and things like this. So if you just see, my name, it's Maria Haiti. And so my father's name obviously was Haiti. And his name was James H. Haiti. And so anyway, if you look at this, I think you can see this. It says, wait, where can you see it? I just want, I want you to be able to see that. I don't know if you can you see how they misspelled his name? Yeah, Jame, and then there's a space, and then there's SH period, and then HADEY. Well, if a man is worth tens of millions of dollars, I don't think that you really have a document like this when you can't even spell his name. I think that's kind of gross, actually. And then here's another page, and it says provisions concerning the trustee, and it says if for any good reason Bessie Haiti, that's my mother, should cease to act as trustee, I constitute and appoint Maria George, which is my married name, and Irene Hughes as successor trustees. So right here it says that. So we are both, let's see, can you see that? Wait, can you see that that's as successor trustees? Anyway, yeah, so it shows we're both to do that. Then in this, it says, my mother wrote, upon the death of my husband, or if he predeceases me, my trustees shall distribute the entire trust estate to my daughters, Maria and Irene, share and share alike, right? Okay, if either of my daughters predeceases me or dies during the term of this trust, her share shall go to her descendants per stirpes and not per capita. So that just means that if my sister or I died, then our 50% of that huge estate would go to our children, which is only fair. So my children would each, since I had 4, they would each inherit 25% of my estate. So did you see that it says to my daughters, Maria and Irene, share and share alike? Yeah, okay. And then in this page, it says here, this is, I'll show you this page, and it says, upon the death of my wife, my father died in 2010 and my mother died in 2011. Anyway, upon the death of my wife, or if she predeceases me, my trustee shall distribute the entire trust estate to my daughters, Maria George and Irene Hughes, share and share alike. Okay, so that's 50-50, right? Okay, and then it says, if either of my daughters predeceases me or dies during the terms of the trust, her share shall go to her descendants. And we already saw that on the other page as well. And then it says, however, as a condition to the distribution, the lineal descendants of my daughter, Maria George, shall not each take their designated share of the trust distribution until that descendant has reached the age of 25. And the reason for that was that my father did not want my children to inherit something when they were young enough where their father would take control of it. So, because, my ex-husband ended up being my father's stockbroker and knew how much money my dad had and then decided to marry me. Not for me, but for the money. Anyway, he was gay. But anyway, that's the way that one rolled. So you see, this is protected. None of my children would be able to inherit 25% of my inheritance until they reach the age of 25. And I think that was a wonderful idea, so that no one could take it from them. And then in this page, you have at this page, now this is so weird because it says under paragraph 6, okay, it says my 4 children, James Scott George is my second son, Stephen Charges George, his name is Charles, but anyway, so in this one they misspelled it and they wrote his name as Charges. How do you misspell Charles? But anyway, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see at the bottom? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. And my daughter, Melissa Haiti George, and it said they only get $1,000. So as my sister rewrote this trust, my children who would get 25% of my huge inheritance, she was giving them $1,000. That's how ridiculous this was written. I mean, it said before, it said that they would inherit 25%, but see here, it's $1,000. Then in this page, it shows my mother's signature. Well, look, this signature doesn't match this signature. If you can see, this one is missing an E. Wait, that's the one? Yeah, this one is missing an E. My mother's name was Bessie, Bessie. So this one, and believe me, my mother was like a genius. She studied math at University of Chicago. I think she knew how to spell her name. So it was like Bessie, but they left out the E. And then here, if you can see, I mean, it doesn't take a handwriting analyst to figure this out. Look at how the Y is. The Y here is rounded at the bottom, and the Y there is a straight line. for the last name. Do you see that? Yeah. And so, I mean, it's totally forged. Okay. And then then my father, to protect my inheritance from my ex-husband, who really wanted the money anyway, and so kept suing me. Remember, like all my other videos, I was talking about all the lawsuits and being the defendant among frivolous lawsuits. But anyway, so there's a provision in here, and it's called the spendthrift provision. And you can see spendthrift provision up here. And the spendthrift provision, it says the interests of beneficiaries in principal or income shall not be subject to claims of their creditors or others, nor to legal process, and may not be voluntarily or involuntarily alienated or encumbered. Now, what that means is that if there is any lawsuit, which, my ex-husband kept trying to sue me and sue me and sue me. And so he actually sent moving vans to come and take all my furniture and clothes and everything. He thought it was very funny. Anyway, the spendthrift provision says that he's not entitled. He can't touch a penny of my inheritance. So the fact that they actually sold, that my sister sold my parents' condo and gave, 50% to her and 50% to my ex-husband because of the bogus defamation lawsuit. I mean, it says you can't do that. And so all the money that he had stolen, all the money that he had taken from my parents' estate, claiming that it was one lawsuit after another. This little provision prohibits that. So it can't. It just can't happen. So it's all illegal. Anyway, and then what else can I show you? And then this was my sister claimed that she was the trustee, and that was in 2015. But anyway, that's and this was her neighbor, her next door neighbor or something, who was the attorney. And then get this. This was, I think, the funniest of all. Well, it wasn't funny. It was actually tragic, but it was kind of funny because you realize just how what people will do for money. Anyway, in this one, so they locked the keys to my condo. They took everything. They emptied all my financial accounts. They took absolutely everything, and I had a lot of cash, in hidden in my condo anyway. But so they took everything. I could never get back in, and I couldn't get the real document, which was in there as well. But what this states, I'll show you this one. Maybe you'll laugh. Anyway, it's number 14, and it says, to the best knowledge and belief of the plaintiff, which is my sister, Maria last resided in Los Angeles County, California, but her current residence is unknown, and plaintiff has reason to believe that she may be homeless. Well, if you take my condo away and you close all my accounts and steal everything, and then when I say, you know what, let's work on this trust, let's look at it, and let's divide up all the assets, everybody changes their phone number. They don't respond at all. My son, who was a co-conspirator with my sister, he lives in London. You can't get a hold of him. Everybody changes their names. My sister changed her identity. She became a platinum blonde, like one of the characters on my website. And so everyone has disappeared, and no one returns any emails. No one answers any phones. So they've become phantoms. And so here you've got this trust, worth several tens of millions of dollars, and no one responds. And the attorneys can't find them. Private investigators can't find them. And so I guess when you have that much extra money, I just don't know. So anyway, people were saying, well, I just can't believe, you must be making it up. But this is the type of document that actually goes before a judge, and the judge signs off on it and says, yes, well, despite the spendthrift clause, if you want 50% to go to an ex-husband, then it'll go there. And the person who is legally entitled to inherit all of this stuff, loses it all. And so, the thing is that this is, when I talk about how the legal system is broken, this is just an example of that, because this is a pitiful example. But it happens in divorce, it happens in civil litigation, it happens in just everything. It happens in real estate, it happens in so many different venues. And so, but estate litigation and wills and trusts, just by forging some signatures, you can just change everything. You can steal. There's no limit to what you can steal, truly. So anyway, I just wanted to get back on about that, and tomorrow I have another video about legal reform and what we can do if that's our sole purpose, and how we can use all of the lessons that we've learned to become better people and to overcome these obstacles. And at first, because I was so desperate to become the best spiritual person, because I thought this lesson is just too bizarre, so there must be a reason for it. And I know that there is a reason for it. But I really thought, gosh, I'm just going to let go and let God take care of it. And then I remembered, the story of the man laying by the sand, or laying, by the water, and he was lame, and he just needed to get into the water for some healing, and eventually he perished. And so when he went up to heaven and he asked God, he said, God, you forgot about me, and I was waiting for you to help me. And God said, well, you silly man, I sent a helicopter, I sent a plane, and I sent a boat, and you just waved them on. And so, the moral to the story is, we can't just totally surrender and not take any action on our own. And, I think because this was so traumatic, I went years with just thinking, well, my family wouldn't do anything so crazy. That's just criminal, right? And my children and my sister, and there's more money than we could spend in 2 lifetimes, all of us. And so just let's be fair. Or let's not be fair and just give me back my home. But anyway, so it's all about, at some point you have to say, what, it's time. It's time to tell the truth, and it's time to stand up for ourselves, because if we don't stand up for ourselves, no one else will. And it really is an indication of how much love we have for ourselves. Because if we continue to allow ourselves to be walked on and to be oppressed and subjugated, and if we just allow, so much disrespect, then basically, we are disrespecting ourselves. And there's no betrayal worse than betrayal of self. And Neil Donald Walsh, I think, said that, and he was spot on, because we have to stand up for ourselves, and we are the most important people in our life, because only when we take care of ourselves are we able to help anyone else. And there is so much that we can do for others now. We weren't put on this planet by accident. We were put because each and every one of us here has so many gifts, and the gifts are to be used to help raise the energy of the planet. It's to help raise the vibration of humanity and move them forward. People all over the world are lost. And when we have a spiritual perspective, and we, want to share compassion and goodness and kindness and love and generosity and benevolence and all of the things that are so important, and that we want to give with an opened heart. And so we can only do that when we've first taken care of ourselves and we are in healthy positions. to be able to do that for others. And so I guess my message today is just, take care of yourself, love yourself, and know that you come first, and then help as many other people as you can. And so anyway, I wish all your dreams to come true for you. And until we meet again, and I love you. Thank you for listening. Good night.